was all about. And mainly what I was doing, I think, is what most people are doing these days in Europe, in America. That's to say, posture-based practices. They roll out a mat, maybe some blocks and a chair, and they do, we do sort of, stretching, balancing, bending, breathing, relaxing, all those things that sort of go into what has become known as a hatha yoga class, let's say, which seems to me slightly different than what that word used to mean, what hatha means in sort of the Indian tradition. And so I started looking around, and quite soon after that I went to India and spent 3 years there looking around and sort of going to yoga classes and looking for yoga teachers and reading as much as I could. And one of the things that struck me, and I think one of the things that strikes a lot of people when they go a little wider than the class itself, is a kind of disparity, a kind of strangeness. If you're used to those kinds of yoga classes that I was used to, you open a book like the Bhagavad Gita, for instance, and you say, well, is this what I'm doing? Like, how does this relate to that? There's a bit of a kind of a leap that has to be made, I think, to explain today's classes in terms of that text, and people do make those leaps. And the same went for the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, which these days is sort of offered as the sort of core text, the foundational document of yoga practice. But if you look at the text, well, it's quite hard to see how you get from most of that text to the things that we're doing now. And there are obviously sutras on 3 sutras on asana practice, but they're very brief, and it seems unlikely that they're actually sort of describing quite the kind of thing that we do today. So I was puzzled. And even looking in texts of the Hatha Yoga tradition, so that the tradition that became very popular in the Middle Ages, sort of from the 12th century through to 16th, 17th century, and then waned for various reasons. Even in those texts, which are supposed to be where all the postures come from, and that's why we do postures. Well, for one